Welcome back, family, to another episode of Walking in Wisdom. And on this platform, we unpack everything character analysis, courtesy of Nollywood Movies. And today we're coming to you with Where Love Lives. Two powerful acting performances by the handsome Usarukwe as well as Bimbo Ademoye, courtesy of Bimbo Ademoye Television. Absolutely. And we asked the question. Well, you can take the girl out of the village. Can you take the village out of the girl? Well, to get that question answered by me, Coach Cece, be sure to stick to the end. But today we're going to provide you some lessons learned all about authenticity if you decide to level up in 2026. And Booga is about presenting your authentic self to your fans, to your employees, to your family members. It's not about impressing anyone because no one is impressed. It's about living your authentic self, living your authentic life, living the life you're called to be as man and woman of faith indeed. And family, we're going to get into a little bit of housekeeping before we get into where love lives. I am Coach CC, and on this platform, I'm simply a Nollywood aficionado sharing our third, fourth, and fifth perspective from some of our favorite Nollywood movies. This platform was inspired indeed by the beautiful, incomparable Sonia Uche from Sonia Uche Television, and as a result, Proverbs 31 woman of virtue, we indeed wanted to bring a gift to the diaspora as you consider the movies, as you consider your life. Speaking, reflecting, the man and woman in the mirror is all about building awareness so you become the best person possible as you move forward, as you create that shift. If you have not subscribed to Walking in Wisdom, we kindly ask you to do so, fan out, share. And again, if you desire to do the work and level up and booger, please definitely be sure to do so. And of course, we have to remember if you have not subscribed to Sonia Uchi Television, she's currently at 1.2 million subscribers, and we're still awaiting her 2026 movie debut. As we wait with bated breath, be sure if you have not seen any of her movies from 2025 or older, please, this is a great time, right? This little respite is a great time for you to view her movies, and including she's asking folks to consider Clash of Emotions. I saw it, beautifully done, beautiful love story, love every age, every size, beautifully done, beautifully executed, and I love the handsome Kofi Ajirolo. I don't believe this is the first time he starred on her production, so that speaks volumes when a veteran visits again and again, indeed. And for that, we say kudos. Family, in addition, if you have not signed up to Bimbo Ademoye's television, she's at 1.4 million subscribers. Please be sure to do so. And be sure, if by chance you are not one of the 16 million that viewed this movie, Where Love Lies, please be sure to do so as well. Now we're on to today's analysis, and we're going to start from one of my favorite scenes from the movie. We're talking about the village girl, and let's see what transpired.
Nurse Eliza, tell that one to I bet she's probably make I see road. Wow. Auntie, pose for me, please, would you? Okay. Ah, no, Ekene was serious in these glasses. I love it. I came for something else, but this will do. So this is what you've been doing with your uncle's wife. No, I told you to fuck. Olga, I'm recording in case you don't know. These are my husband's new investments. Listen, what? No bad don't go. Tí wọ́n bá bí pọ̀, ẹ má pa pa ẹ̀dá. Wo, màá sán orí ẹ̀ sí ọ̀nà 16. Ó já wèrè ni. Oh, you thought I was joking when I said I was from the trenches? Bàbá tí mẹ́jọ.
This was one of my favorite parts where you sort of village girl come out, and sometimes he or she has to make an appearance indeed. Now let's consider another favorite part of the movie when we consider again the importance of women coming together and friendship indeed. And when women try to make an appearance, seem authentic, but it's all about their image that they're concerned with rather than their heart, rather than what's really going on, rather than their health. It's all about an image. So let's consider this scene indeed.
She's a bit shaken. This isn't the first time, is it? Why didn't you tell any of us? Thought that if I pretended that my life was perfect, then it would be.
So very telling indeed. If I pretended my life was perfect, it would be. You cannot wish and will perfection. You can do the work, be a better wife, a better daughter, right? A better employee, a better husband, a better boyfriend, a better fiance, a better odugu, a better chulogo by doing the work. This doesn't happen without putting in the work, hence the reason for walking in wisdom, doing the self-reflection that builds self-awareness, and aiming and desiring, especially if you're a man or woman of faith and you have a history and have a past, and we all do, it's about how do you move from the current stage to your desired stage and do it without bullying and do it without patronizing anyone. There's a way, certainly, to do it indeed. And today we're offering you really four ways of which you can really represent your most authentic self and consider indeed why maintaining the village girl, if that's your DNA, if that's who you are, there's some beautiful traits that come from being that country girl, that village girl, as well as some wonderful traits that come from being that city girl as well, right? It's really about trying to become a 360 and understand the deficiencies or threats you want to work on and level up, become more booga, but you have to physically do the work. You can mentally will it. It doesn't happen that way. Transformation is an action. It's physical, and you actually physically have to do the work, working with a spiritual man or woman of faith if you're considering that level of transformation. So in this particular movie, when we consider that Bimbo's character came from humble beginnings and why she did not want to return to poverty, the strength and opportunity of being a village girl came out when she needed to defend another Archulugo to another Archulugo, when she needed to defend a battered wife, when she needed to defend herself against a bully indeed. So the village is your grit, it's your DNA. So it's not something you have to do away with. It's always going to be part of you, but it's a time and place when it should emanate. Then we're looking at number two, have a level of radical self-acceptance. And it's all about growth and transformation, as we stated. So while you could level up, self-improve, we all can, no one is perfect. Not admitting your humble beginnings, you need to be able to be very open about that, right? You're giving someone or the enemy ammunition to make your story not right, right? You're giving someone the ammunition to weaponize your story. And there's nothing wrong with coming from a country village life or from poverty. In this big, huge global sphere, some people would have come from country village living, and some people would be the wealthy, rich living in opulence indeed. So, number three, we want to understand you bring a unique perspective if you now move up and living in the luxury skyline and in a wonderful neighborhood based on one of my favorite music theme songs from one of the favorite comedies back in the 70s. Let's listen. So this particular comedy scene in the West, some of us may be aware of it. It's about moving on up and but it doesn't mean abandoning who you are. And because what happens is that if you're moving up into a deluxe department in a deluxe community, you will still have a competitive advantage, a competitive edge. You're not going to be one of the many women looking and sounding alike. You will bring a unique perspective to whatever discussion you have just based on that beautiful experience and humble beginnings. And then you have to look at number four, integrity and relatability. People gravitate towards those who are real. It's almost magnetic, and it's important that you maintain your authenticity. And in the era of social media, when we speak about authenticity, as we clearly see in this movie here, it's about brand identity, who you really are, authenticity, as opposed to brand image, right? You can't afford to care what other people think, right? If someone is abusing you, you can't afford to care about his image or whomever's the abuser, the abuser's image. Absolutely not. Right? You can't afford to care about the bully's image. You have to speak up and speak out and understand that truth that comes with it. And it's with you living your authentic self, but just at another level, people will be able to relate to you. And then you have a story to tell. You have a story to encourage the next generation. If I can do it, you can do it too, right? And though the story has a plethora of lens you can search from and bring your perspective from, whether it's love, how she loved the husband unconditionally, or whether is the husband's character in terms of how he also leveled up from his hard work and how he loved and took care of his wife. And there's so many different dimensions. But today we wanted to offer you, as we begin the 2026 year, is important to highlight the importance of, again, authenticity, brand, identity, and understanding the importance that you bring to the table, regardless of where you started, humble beginnings. And it's important to know Proverbs 27:19 reminds us, as water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. Your entire life, it didn't start when you were rich. Your entire life from birth reflects the heart. And there might be humble beginnings, there might be abusive beginnings. We can all take those lessons. We cannot change it, but we can be better individuals as a result of it. We can be better parents, better spouses because of it. We can certainly be more diligent and more ethical and have great integrity when we work diligently and work on ourselves. So then we could be better breadwinners for our family as well. There's so many dimensions you can glean from it, but ultimately it's really about looking at your full 360 from birth to now and knowing that your authentic self is part of those humble beginnings. So at the beginning, I asked the question, can you take the village, the girl out of the village, but the village out of the girl? The answer is you can indeed take the village out of the girl if you're not living your authentic life. But if you're living your authentic life, you wouldn't want to take the village out of the girl because that's all about who the girl is. And it's all about having a level of brand identity that an everyday man and woman can relate to indeed. And as we conclude this beautiful storyline, it's so very important to give credit to the men and women that contribute to this very storyline. And even though we didn't show you much of Uzo, again, he has been really as part of a lot of blockbuster movies on YouTube as well as on a movie. So he is certainly doing his thing. But let's take a moment to thank the staff, the crew, everyone that's part of this great collaboration, including Ekene, played by Uzo, Dimalade, played by Bimbo. Chioma was awesome in this movie and so many others. Great scenes, and we had a lot of great costumes. Her wardrobe was out of this world, so and great storyline by Bimbo. Screenplay, Ukeme. It certainly indeed takes a village. It is so important for me to showcase that indeed together everyone achieves more. Family, thank you so much for once again listening to Walking in Wisdom. And if you have not yet, consider subscribing. Please consider subscribing, being part of this elite group only if you're ready to do the work, only if you decide to do better, only if you demand more from your officials. It starts with you. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, shalom.